Well, hi everybody, old Gary out here at the Fishing Shack, and welcome to today's fishing report and fishing show, Fishing Chums. How y'all chummers doing? Good to see you. Carla and I just returned from Table Rock. We're taping this on late Thursday afternoon, and we went out fishing. I tell you what, we just had a ball today. Caught some really nice bass, quality bass, and also got into a crappie or two as well. So we'll be talking about this for an instant update. Got a great report from out at Beaver Lake. And boy, Stockton, Carla and I were there the other day and really caught some nice fish. Some walleye, some bass, spotted bass, I think smallmouth, and boy, we just had a ball. And so we'll be talking about the walleye fishing out on Stockton. Some of the people have really been getting into some good walleye fishing. And Truman fishing slowed down a little bit. They're still catching some quality fish, some quality crappie out at Truman. And the bass fishing at Bull Shoals and Table Rock has really been good. Good topwater fishing. My gosh, so we have a lot to talk about. First of all, I want to remind you at the end of the program, Kathy and I have selected some great photos for you on our photo roll. Great photos again this week. I know you're going to enjoy, so stick around for that. And thank you for all the viewers last week. My gosh, we had around 14,000 viewers. Just unbelievable. Thank you, and keep spreading the word. All right, let's go out to Beaver Lake. That water temperature is around the mid-60s. It fluctuates a little bit. The lake is high, a little dingy, but they're catching fish out there. Now, I tell you, I had this great report starting out with Randy Gage. This past Sunday was Mother's Day, and once again, happy Mother's Day, everybody. Gosh darn it, I hope you had a beautiful Mother's Day. And Randy took his mother fishing for Mother's Day. What a wonderful gift that was. And look at this, Randy Gage, look at his mother, Dawn. Look at this beautiful striper she caught. Boy, that would just make anybody's Mother's Day. And Randy, good going, my friend. I love it when people take their kids out or their mother and dad out. Well, it's just very special. So get going on. Nice fish, nice striper. And I tell you what, I visited with my messaging with Richard Lee Rusher just a few minutes ago. And boy, the fishing down below the dam has really been good, below Beaver. And I tell you what's going on. Now the power units have been shut down for the most part. So they've been running a little bit of water through the gates, just enough for a nice flow. And boy, look at this first photo that Richard Lee was guiding these people the other day, dragging a flicker shad and picked up a nice limit of walleye. Look at these beautiful walleye. Good going, guys. Then I think the next day he had a group out, some people out that were trout fishing, and look at this photo. They got a limit of nice trout. So Richard Lee said there's white bass up there, there's walleye, a lot of male walleye, and they've been trolling flicker shads, doing real good. And for the trout, I believe they've been using just a Berkeley power eggs. But anyway, they're catching a lot of fish. And Richard Lee and I, we're going fishing one of these days, that's for sure. But good fishing below the dam. Now on the main lake, they've been catching some stripers. They're a little bit scattered, I understand. They're more in the deeper part of the lake and off some of the points. And boy, if you do find them with your electronics, you can really catch some nice stripers out at Beaver. Crappie fishing, boy, they're just kind of all over the place. We've had reports of some shallow water crappie being caught, but we've had reports of crappie being caught in 30 to 40 feet of water. So experiment on your depths. And boy, they have caught some nice quality crappie out at Beaver this week. Just have to experiment a little bit. So, and the walleye out on the main lake. Out on the main lake points, you may check this out too. And so Beaver looks good for the upcoming weekend. It is high, little off color, but they're still catching fish. Okay, let's go out to Table Rock. Carla and I just returned from Table Rock. We were out there. Boy, just had a great morning and afternoon. Caught a lot of bass. Boy, I tell you what, I was swimming some jigs off the points in shallow water. Picked up several nice quality. Look at this fish right here. Really a big old gal. And we caught her plus probably 5 or 6 other really nice sized fish. And of course we released them all back to the water. But boy, we had fun. Just a lot of fun catching bass. And also look at this nice crappie. Caught a few crappie. Look at this. Ooh boy. And I'm telling you, I know a lot of people are saying the crappie are done spawning at Table Rock, but they're not. Got these fish very shallow, and there's still some spawners. I'm sure a majority of them have completed their spawn, but I know there's a lot of fish on the bank swimming jigs. Boom, nice fish, nice fish. And I tell you, the other day, Carla and I were out, and I wanted to show you this picture. I just love this photo because she caught her first nice sized white bass. Look at this photo. Boy, up in Long Creek. Very beautiful woman, lady, super lady, and nice fish. Okay, what else we got here? All right, I tell you what else is going on. Andrew, our buddy Andrew, he was out on his kayak the other day. And look at this beautiful fish that he caught on his kayak. It had to go around 4 pounds. Now I understand that he's still going to fish out of that kayak, but he got him a new bass boat. How about that, Andrew? Good going, my friend. Have a lot of good fishing ahead of us, and I'm going to get in that new boat with you, that's for sure. And let's see, the Ray family was out. They're all camped out there in the James River, and they're catching catfish. And with my old buddy Catfish Rick, and they have a bunch of vets out there camping, and they're just starting to catch some nice cats. But look at this photo with the Ray family. Beautiful catfish. Good going. That's for sure. And the catfish said the white bass have really been going up in the James River arm, on some of the flats. They've been trolling for them, and just a lot of limits caught up there. A lot of white bass being caught on Table Rock right now. They're pretty well done with their spawn. They're coming back on the flats and points. If you get into them, you really can smoke them. Nice fish. And my buddy Jordan Lear, he was out on Table Rock with Sierra yesterday. I wanted to show you these pictures just to show you how good the fishing is at Table Rock, because Carla and I really got into them today, and Jordan Lear and Sierra got into them yesterday. Look at these photos. We've got about 3 photos I want to show you here. Beautiful bass. Now he was catching his on swim baits. And that was yesterday, and today we really got into them with some swim baits, swimming jigs. They're catching fish on Ned rigs at Table Rock right now. They're picking up some fish on jerk baits, swim baits, a lot of nice swim baits. And I'm telling you, the top water bite is really good, excellent right now. They're catching some fish on spooks. My favorite top water bait at Table Rock, in just about any lake, would be the popar. And use the popar this weekend. I know you can catch some fish on the surface with popars, spooks, well, your favorite top water bait, but it's really good. And there's a lot of nice bass being caught around the docks too. So you may want to be pitching some jigs, and they're just catching fish on a variety of baits. What I like to say right now is take your tackle box, because just about anything in there could catch fish. I had reports of swim back into the pockets in the coves, slow rolling spinner baits. I've had reports of crankbaits. My golly, just about a little bit of everything's catching fish at the rock. And some walleye are being caught up in the White River arm. Some people are trolling the flicker shafts and picking up a walleye on occasion. No big run, but they're starting to come back into the main lake, so hit those points. And some bluegill are being caught on the bluffs too. If you want to get out there this weekend and take the kids, boy, you may want to get out there and put some little worms on light line and maybe a float, a little bobber. Oh, the kids could have fun doing this. Okay, let's go out to Lake Taneycomo. They've been running some water out there, but they've been picking up some nice fish. Water temperature is 46 degrees. I've had good reports, mixed reports. Up in the trophy area, they've been using white jigs, slow rolling white jigs, also some crankbaits and some small jerk baits. I've had reports for live bait, night crawlers, maybe a half a night crawler on a small hook with some split shot up above it, and minnows too. And they've been picking up some fish on that Berkeley trout worm, that pink trout worm, maybe about 4 inches long, and they're using it kind of wacky style, putting a little weight up above it, casting out and letting it go down and working it, and that can pay off. And of course, power bait seems like pink or white has been the best color this week. So I tell you, Taneycomo looks good for trout fishing, and some nice browns have been caught, and some above average trout rainbow have been caught this week. Okay, let's go out to Bull Shoals. You know, that lake is high, about 24 foot high. A little dingy water, but they're catching fish out there. You get out to them, you can catch fish. I know Del Colvin with his guide service, boy, look at this couple of nice smallmouths that they caught the other day. They're really, look at this photo, really catching some quality smallmouth at Bull Shoals right now. And they're catching bass. You know, some of them are still spawning. Some of them are coming out of the spawning areas. We've had reports on the points, the main lake points and secondary points. They've been picking up some fish on crankbaits, slow rolling spinner baits. We've had reports of some topwater action out there as well, especially in the morning hours. We've had reports of some swim baits have been pretty good at Bull Shoals, and also some jerk baits, just like table rock. Kind of bring the tackle box, because you never know, boy, what they might hit. A little bit of everything right now. But swim baits have been good at Bull Shoals. Some walleye are moving at Bull Shoals. Boy, I love that walleye fishing. I love Bull Shoals. There's some quality fish, beautiful walleye in Bull Shoals. And I'll tell you what, Roger, all right, Roger Prazaski, I'm sure I got that wrong, Roger, but pardon me, not good at names. But Roger from Flippin, Arkansas, this is courtesy of the Fish and Game. And look at this beautiful 9-pound plus walleye caught the other day recently out at Bull Shoals. And I think he caught an 8-pounder too, if I get my facts right. And so they've been hitting the points out there, trolling flicker shad. Some people are using night crawler harnesses, using that electric motor, going back and forth on the points. And they've really been catching some nice walleye when they do get into it. By the way, the smallmouth, I did mention it with Dell, but boy, a lot of nice smallmouth are being caught. Crappie, they're kind of all over the place at Bull Shoals. I know some are up shallow spawning right now. They're kind of hard to find, but don't overlook the shallow water fishing. Maybe slow roll some jigs or jig and minnows, but don't be afraid to take the first break off the spawning areas and get down some brush in around 15 to 20 feet of water as well. I've heard of a few crappie being caught off some of the docks out there. So Bull Shoals looks good. It's high, a little off color, but boy, you can still catch quality fish on Bull Shoals. Stockton, the water temperature out today was 61 degrees. Carla and I were out at Stockton the other day. We had a good time. We caught some nice eating size walleye, nothing huge, but good eating size fish. And what you want to do out on those points is start deep. We started maybe in 30 feet of water with the electronics, and I just keep watching it and use the electric motor and keep creeping up, and kind of control my electric motor with the wind, kind of a natural drift, using just a jigging night crawler or a hooking night crawler with a couple split shots up above it. But gee, you could just about call it when you'd see a fish. Hey, Carlo, one of us is going to catch a fish, and we'd hook a fish. Sometimes we might miss it, but we'd get at least hooked up. And so they may be in 25, 20, 15. Seemed like around 15 feet of water was the key depth for us. So try those points. Try deep to shallow, and you could catch some walleye. Boy, there's been some nice walleye caught out there. And in fact, let's see, Zachary Lawrence was out the other day, and look at this nice walleye that Zachary got into. Good going, my friend. He's a chummer. Chummer, good going. Always appreciate your photos, Zachary. And I want to show you the crappie fishing also out at Stockton has been pretty good yet. They've been still pretty doggone good. In fact, Aaron David, he's a chummer. Aaron, good to see that photo. But he had the family out, family photo. And here again, I love family photos. I love kids' photos. And people taking their parents fishing. Boy, that's great. But Aaron David, good photo. Well, those kids had a ball. He can get them in the crappie. There's no doubt about that. And let's see, Billy Hunt was out. He was out the other evening at Stockton, and he was just doing some points at night, kind of right at night, drifting over the points, fishing points, had some lights out, I think, and picked up this mess of white bass and a few crappie. Good going, Billy Hunt. He's a chummer. And also Chris, he's a chummer of ours. Look at these fish. Chris had the night lights out, fishing at night up in the river areas. There's been a lot of fish up the river areas. And he put the lights out. What happens with the lights? You can put I used to use Coleman lanterns and tip them off the boat with shades on the back of it. All that light goes on the surface of the water, and it draws in plankton. And plankton is a microscopic fish, just a tiny little devil. You can't hardly see them, and you can't, I don't think. But then that's what a lot of shad will feed on. So it's a chain reaction. You put the lights out, you can have floating lights, lanterns, or the big high-powered lights you put under the water. But it's a chain reaction. Plankton come in, then the shad come in, and then the white bass, crappie. Once in a while you'll pick up walleye. So that's what Chris was doing the other day up in the river at Stockton. Good going. All right, and I don't want to overlook my old buddy Kyle McMillan. My golly, Kyle, we're going fishing one of these days. Kyle was out the other day, just a couple days ago, I believe, and picked up this nice limit of walleye. Good going, Kyle. Keep it going, buddy. You can catch those walleye, that's for sure. He's a chummer, good chummer too, yeah. Pomme de terre is 62 degrees. With the rain recently and the cooler weather, it has kind of stirred up the fishing out at Pomme de terre. It's not as quite as good as it was, but they're still catching crappie. Don't overlook the bank. Try slow rolling, jigging minnows off the bank, but you may end up in 15 to 20 feet of water, but you can still catch some crappie out at Pomme de terre. Pretty good bass fishing out there as well. Like Stockton, I overlooked this, but there's some really nice quality bass being caught on a variety of baits. You can catch them on Ned rigs. You can catch them on some shaky heads. Shaky heads are good at Table Rock and Bull Shoals too. I overlooked that. Shaky heads are good right now. And some nice bass and a little bit of topwater action out at Stockton as well. Same way at Pomme de terre. They're catching not only a few crappie, but bass fishing has been fair. And I heard of a nice some nice catfish caught out there at Pomme de terre as well, and a nice muskie caught the other day. Don't look too bad. Okay, let's go out to Truman. The water temperature was 61 degrees this morning, and you know, they have some water out there. It's slowed down just a little bit maybe on the crappie fishing, but they're still catching some quality fish. And the catfishing's been good. Look at my friend Sierra. She was at Table Rock yesterday. She was out at Truman the other day. Look at this beautiful photo here of Sierra with this gorgeous catfish, big old catfish. He was out with our buddy, our chummer, Jordan Lear, and boy, they caught some nice cats between them. And they caught some nice crappie too. They went out the next day, I believe, and they went crappie fishing. Look at these two photos of Jordan and Sierra. Big crappie. Ooh, nice crappie. That's out at Truman. And Ryan Spillman was out the other day. Look at this big old crappie. Wow, Ryan, good going. He was fishing in the Bucksaw area. Good going. And Tom Clark was out the other day too. Hey, Tom, he's a chummer. Look at these beautiful crappie that Tom caught out at Truman. Boy, get out there. Man, it sounds good. Catfish. Jordan said, by the way, the catfish are hitting shallow water, drifting, and mainly on cut shad. He and Sierra really got into him the other day. All right, let's go to the photo of the week. Photo of the week comes from Tony Gibson out at Lake the Ozarks. Look at this young lady. Look at that beautiful smile. My golly, that's a great smile and a beautiful crappie. And that's out at Lake the Ozarks. Mark Warren. Good going. Nice going, young lady. And the crappie fishing's a little scattered out there. You know, earlier in the week we had temperatures, Monday and Tuesday in the 50s. Ooh, that was cool. Then we've had rain. So it's kind of messed fishing up a little bit, but it's rebounding. I tell you, just by being at Table Rock today, that was a tremendous bite out there. And so it is rebounding. And hopefully if we hit the weather this week, you're going to have some great fishing. So get out there. I understand Sunday might be a little bit better than Saturday, but who knows? I'm no weatherman. Get out there whenever you can. But getting back to wrapping this thing up at Lake of the Ozarks, they're catching crappie, kind of scattered. Some of them are near the bank. Drag that jig and minnow off the bank and kind of slow roll it. They're catching some fish around the docks, and they're catching fish back in the pockets and off the points and brush piles in about 15 to 20 feet of water. Jig and minnows are minnows. And the bass fishing has been fair at Lake of the Ozarks. I've had reports of crankbaits, wiggleworts. I've had reports of swim baits, pretty good at Lake of the Ozarks this week. And of course, they're catching some fish on jigs like shaky head as well. Let's wrap this thing up out at Norfolk. Let's go to Norfolk. And what's happening at Norfolk, kind of variety. The lake is up, a little off-colored water in a lot of areas, but they're catching fish. I've heard the stripers are in deeper water, off some of the deep water points and off some of the deep water flats. Then I've had reports of the crappie are still being caught in the brush piles in anywhere from 10, 12, 15 to 18 feet of water. Vertically fishing jigs, jigging minnows, that's been fairly good. And the bass fishing is kind of in all phases of the spawn right now, catching some bass out there. I've heard of some real nice smallmouth being caught at North Fork as well. And this is something we don't do very often, but you know, there's thousands of farm ponds around. Right here in the Ozarks, Tony Gibson was out the other day, and he was using a Ned rig. That just shows you, Ned rig will catch anything, any bass anywhere, fishing a farm pond. And look at this beautiful bass that Tony Gibson caught. Good going, Tony. Nice fish. Well, that's about it for the day. Don't look that bad for the weekend. I don't know what this crazy weather might do, but if we have some stable weather, I know you can get out and get bit. And for you folks out on YouTube, I want to thank you for joining us. And be sure to subscribe. Kathy put it right up there. There you go. Subscribe. And if you'd like to send any photos, go to our email. Email us at fishandchums@gmail.com, and be sure to like and share. Really appreciate that. For all the thousands of viewers watching us on Facebook, God bless you. A lot of viewers, just thousands every week. We really appreciate what you're doing. And if you would like to join our group, our Fishing Chums group, be sure to go to our page and join us, because we get together and we will share information, we'll share photos, and just have a lot of fun. And you can send your photos to get on right here on Fishing Chums by joining our group. Just send it to our group page. Boy, that's good. I'd love to have you do that. And be sure to like and share, everybody, and tell your friends about our show. We have a lot of fun here on Fishing Chums, and I tell you what, we just enjoy having you with us. And the only thing I got left to say is if I don't see you out on the lake this weekend, I want to see you right back here next week at this very same time. Okay, Kathy, we have some great photos. Roll those photos. God bless you all.